Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today I'm going to be doing a video on a 70-year-old fishing reel. It's the Ocean City 922 TopSail. The reel was introduced in 1954 and under the Ocean City brand was made until Ocean City changed hands by being sold to True Temper in 1957. So this is a very narrow range where you actually had the Ocean City 922. The reel was continued to be manufactured, showing the True Temper sign afterwards. This is a beautiful heavy-duty line guided reel that, well, I'm going to show you how to take apart and service. Now, I've had this one apart before. George sent this one to me, and unfortunately had a frozen pinion gear. That means that the gear has actually rusted onto the shaft, cannot be removed, so I needed to go find a donor reel to replace that spool. But as a service to George, I want to show you how to take this reel apart, inspect it, clean it, re-lubricate it, keep it fishing for another 70 years. Well, to start, we want to remove the exterior pieces and parts, and while I do that, I want to mention this is a unique feature. The Ocean City reel actually has the handle and the wrench connected. That was something that I thought was always wonderful in a design standpoint. Well, if you like these types of videos while I'm taking these off, I would encourage you to subscribe. And if you do subscribe, use that notification button. I cover everything. Today we're working on a vintage reel. Tomorrow it might be the latest and greatest from the market. You may find freshwater spinning reels or low profile bait casting reels. Whatever comes into my shop, if I haven't done a video on it, I generally try to do a video on it to I'll show you how it's done and to encourage you to do it yourself. We want to remove the four screws that are holding the side plate on. That's the next challenge here. And when I take these off, I put these into a parts tray, and I recommend that, well, you have a strategy for dealing with the parts that you remove as well. If you put them in a centralized location, it's not hard to find, and if you put them in a place where it's not easy to knock them off your table, you'll appreciate the prep work that you did. I did notice as I just took the four screws out that the two bottom screws are long, the two short screws belong in these posts. We can remove the side plate now, and we will see how that side plate is set up. This is pretty much a fairly straightforward design from Ocean City. It's different than the pen reels. This has an anti-reverse dog spring here, and well, it has a yoke and some of the other features that you would typically find on saltwater reels of the day. We want to remove the yoke. To do that, you loosen the screw. You don't have to remove the screw completely. It's got a little gate on it. It'll just open up like that, and that'll enable you to pull up and out on that. Sometimes you can just kind of pop it and then just pull it up and out. That's your jack. If I said yoke before, I apologize. That's incorrect. Then we have the yoke, and that's got a carrier on it. You saw that on the one that was broken here. And what happened here when this one froze was, well, this could not move in and out, and that caused you to have no free spool at all. You have two studs here. They don't need to be removed. You also have the springs on those studs that are going to push the yoke in and out. You could remove those for safekeeping, or you can just be careful about it as you do. Those two are the screws that belong up top. We're going to remove the bridge, which are the screws on the bottom. And these bridge screws have a little collar on them. I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. But they don't have the straight-in threading to the bridge that a pen reel does. It has a little collar that accepts this. So I'm keeping my fingers on those as I remove those two screws. Again, you want to compare, make sure that those screws are the same size. We can take those parts and move them off to the side, and then we can push out the bridge. This is the collar I was referring to. There are two of those. The other one is chosen to stay in for a moment, but that's going to accept the screw, and those go into those two big holes. Once you have them in, we can remove the gears. Next, you want to separate the gears. I'll do a little bit of cleaning on that. Here's the new washers that I put in. They are the Penn 155 washers, and they do work. We've got our bridge. So next thing we want to do then is we want to clean those gears. Particularly since the one had been rusted on, I got a replacement gear for it from the donor reel. But I want to make sure that all of the channels in that one is clear so that it runs nice and smooth. So I'm going to use a micro driver. It's one of these little Harbor Freight multi-packs for mini drivers. What I'm also doing here is I'm checking to make sure that the teeth are nice and straight and forward and not worn. Problem with these reels, after a long time of use, they do wear. Okay, looks like we've got all clean channels here. I had somebody send a note the other day saying that they went through their reel, did all the things that were on my video, and they still have a rough running reel. And I had asked them if they had checked the teeth of the main gear or the pinion gear. And they came back and said, no, there was a piece of broken line in that gear. Well, that'll do it. So just take the time. Just examine it all. All right, with that cleaned, we can put some grease on that. Please use fishing reel grease. I'm using Penn Precision Reel Grease for this. And I use an artist brush so that I don't trap the hairs of a brush, or another way of doing that. We have 3 washers. These are the Penn HT100 for the 155. No, Ocean City was not a Penn reel, but in this case they work. We're going to leave those dry. We have 2 keyed washers. Those are the rectangular ones. They go over. We have one with a circle that goes in the middle. So one goes under, one goes over, one goes in the middle. The one in the middle intersects with the 2 slots in the main gear and sits down low, just like this. We have one more washer to install. We have the cap washer, and that's your setup for your drag stack. Okay, we want to do the same thing here with the pinion gear now. This is the one that rusted onto the spool shaft. How does that happen? Well, it was probably used in salt water, went into storage, wasn't clean inside. The salt water eventually started rusting away. They're only steel parts, and once they rust on, they're almost impossible to get off. You can use heat. Sometimes you'll get lucky, but most of the time you need to find a replacement. That not only happens on these reels, happens on Penn reels and others, particularly of that age. All right, inspect the teeth. They're all good. We have a carrier, and on the carrier, we're going to nest it this way. I'll take a moment here to figure it all out. Now that's where pictures would help. I just got ahead of myself, didn't take the pictures, but do the same thing here once you set that up. All right, we reverse course now in terms of how we put this back together. We're going to put them in kind of opposite the way you took them out. A little bit of grease to where those 2 sets go. I'm going to bring the main gear in first. If you bring the other one in first, you're not going to be able to get the main gear in. Look at those two little cups that are where the screws are going to attach to. Every now and then with these Ocean City reels, the screws get trapped in these cups. You're going to need a small wrench to bring them out. Alright. These screws are easy to confuse here. So when you set your two of the screws aside in your parts tray, make sure that they are separate from the side plate screws. There's only a little bit of a difference there, but it's enough that it won't make the reel work if you put one in the other slot. Okay. Just give it a twirl, make sure it works. Alright, we want to put our pinion gear assembly in next. That involves the yoke. Grease the shoulders where it's going to go. The side of the exposed gear faces inward. This is the section that's going to hook up with the spool. Bring your yoke and assembly over, center it on those posts, press down. Now these posts have a slot in them right there on both sides. That's how the jack can seat in them. Let's bring that in. Both sides, slide it down to the point where you get the stud exposed, pull it over and close your gate. With the gate closed, tighten up your screw. Bring your collar over next and your star adjuster. Now if you find that this is starting to twirl on you, you can use a screwdriver. There's two little gaps, one on each side, to hold it firm. Or once you have a little bit of it exposed, go ahead and use the handle. Use that as a wrench. Then hold it firm with the handle as you tighten down. Sometimes they're a little hard to put on because dirt gets trapped in the screw threads there. Alright, I'm going to bring this over next. Now, previously serviced, as I mentioned, we replaced the spool, we cleaned the insides, we greased the tip of the spool. Put a little bit of grease here so that, well, it doesn't freeze the next time around. It's a little too much. And we can put our plate back on. Set that in. The two long screws go below. The two short screws go above, and those cross posts, I'm going to alternate them. I'm going to go with the long screw and then opposite that, put the short screw on this one. Screw on the bottom here. Well, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel, if you want to leave those questions in the comment section, I do try to answer those. And typically I'm answering those in the morning of the day following a video. So if you're leaving one at night, expect an answer in the morning. If you're leaving one in the morning, it may be a full 24 hours before I respond. Okay, let's put the handle on now. Handle nut. Make sure that you've got these going in square. It's easy to kind of get them crossed up here. And if they get cross-threaded, you're going to destroy the inside of your pinion gear, and well, you just may not be lucky enough to find another pinion gear or your sleeve. All right, tightening this one down now. And this is the beauty of this one. You won't lose your handle wrench because it's attached to your handle. Isn't quite seated properly. I think this is an ingenious design. All right, nothing left to do here but to test. So what did we do? Took the reel apart. Again, this has been serviced already, but one of the things I should mention on the line guide, remove the pawl shield. There's a shield that's all the way over here. Pull that spring, the pawl will come out. Clean the shoulders of the pawl. Inspect your tracks on the worm gear. All right, we're in free spool. Look at that. 70 years old, not an issue whatsoever. Turns free and smooth. The line guide advances. Let's put it into gear. It's a little tight. I don't know what to say. It's just a beautiful reel all around. Turns free and easy. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that on how to service the 922 TopSail from made between 1954 and 1957 by Ocean City. I want to take a moment to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, and rescue, and everybody involved in, well, just keeping us out of harm's way. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for watching, for commenting, for subscribing, and for keeping this channel vibrant and enabling us to show you how to do it yourself. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody fun on the water and a great day. Thanks for watching.